Okay, guys, it's Christora back again with some helpful information. Hopefully, I'm here with our videographer, Trey Dasher. He runs his own production company, TED Productions. And we are just going to have a conversation about what videography is, how it can enhance your photography experience, everything that goes into it. Cool?
Yes, indeed. Let's get to it.
All right, cool. Okay, so first of all, Trey, how did you get started with it?
I started early on working with drones and action cameras, actually. And then I had someone approach me that liked my work, asked if I could do a wedding. So I did all the research I could, dove into it head first, and just found that I loved capturing people's moments. I love capturing mine, but then even more capturing other people. So it just became so much fun, like learning in all this technology and all the things that go into it. And I fell in love with it. So I've been doing it for a while now, and it just took off.
That's amazing. So when you go to a wedding, like what are those moments that you were really excited to have on video?
Okay, so my number one definitely has to be the groom's face. That's number one because they try to hold it together so much, and men are supposed to be macho, whatever, and they just can't when they see these wives walking down the aisle. So I love that. I also love when the bridesmaids get to see the bride in her dress for the first time, like all her friends and her mom and everything. And they just, it's all come together for this moment for, she's been thinking about this for years. And, those are like really, really special moments to me. I love capturing those.
So what's kind of your philosophy about a wedding day? Like how do you approach it? Are you hands-on, want to be, right in the middle of the action? Do you kind of hang back and let the action come to you? Where is your approach that way?
I would honestly say it's both because there's the moments that you want to flow naturally. Walking down the aisle, the bouquet toss, like all of that stuff will have its moments naturally. But then there's moments where you have to, pull them away from the photographer and like tell them, I need you to do a spin here, a twirl, a re-reveal, like tell them to tell each other stories of when they first met to make it, you're making a magic moment. It is magic, but you have to almost bring it out sometimes. So it's a little of both. But I definitely hold back and let magic happen in front of me because it's awesome to watch and
So
let it
you
happen
and I,
natural.
the reason why we work well together is because you and I both have that philosophy that and the way that I approach it is there's a candid, it's an intimate candid, right?
Yes.
So it's almost like when you get someone doing something where it really is them, where it feels like them, and where there's movement involved, there tends to be more of those candid smiles, the
Absolutely.
little giggles, the one of my favorite things ever is when I tell somebody, okay, pull each other close, give each other big hugs, and they think I'm done photographing them, and then the groom just gives her a kiss on like her temple or her
And
forehead.
it's the cutest thing because like they don't know they're getting caught right in that moment, and they're
Exactly,
gonna remember it forever. They're gonna love it forever.
exactly. So when you go in, do you tell walk me through like your process as far as creating a video of the day, like a highlight film for someone's wedding day? What's
So
included in that? What's your philosophy as far as how it should start, how it should end? Does it differ?
it does differ every time because one of my biggest things to do is go in and talk to the family, not just the bride and groom, but the family, because I want to know what they think is important. Because as much as it's about the bride and groom on that day, I mean, the family's there, it's all these people coming together. So I need to know what's important to them. So I always take my time going around the venue, finding little spots, all the little subtle nuances that, like, everything's going to happen so fast on their wedding day. I want to capture it and piece it together. So I always like to start my highlight films with like the venue and like flying in and you see like where we're getting wed and everything and it's empty. And then like you see people arriving and the buildup of the day, the rings laying on top of each other. All these little pieces come together and it's kind of like a building story of a crescendo to where they kiss and happy and then it goes into a little bit of fun party at the reception and whatnot and it just the ending is always going to be something sweet. The moment that I thought was like so pure
It's
And
that
like that's
creme de la creme.
yes, 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 yes,
Like,
yes.
it's kind of the summary of the day. I
Yes, it is. It is.
always look for that together, you know, like
Yes, yes. It's so much fun. Yes.
the sunset, or even just that one time where he pulls her hand up for a kiss. Like that can be,
Yes. It's something that like everyone missed, but we saw because we're like paying attention. So
yes, exactly. And that's our job. It's our job.
yes.
How do you think that videography and photography complement each other? And how do you think that, why do you think that videography is important for the day?
It's important because you get all these still images, and yes, a picture's worth 1,000 words. But just like you said, you like to catch that extra stuff. If when they complement each other, if you're doing your perfect photos, bride and his groomsmen and or bride and groomsmen and all the different things that they do together. I'm doing video on the side, so in between they're always making jokes and nudging each other, and there's like they complement each other in that sense. But there's always going to be like things that I can't capture in video that pictures can capture, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they go hand in hand. Video is important because, I mean, it's picture in motion, and you can really capture just stunning pieces of light and movement and the way people were acting on that day. And it just adds to a story. It all comes together and builds a story.
Yeah, so I almost equate it to, so for example, when I first read Harry Potter, I really thought that I did not know that Hermione's name was pronounced Hermione. I thought that her name was Hermione. And so it took the actual film to inform me of what her name was.
Yeah.
So I think of kind of photo and film as being that mix. It's like the photography is the book. It's the starting place, right?
Yes.
The film is that it's that cinematic
Cinematographic, cinematic.
cinematic cinematic
I
portion.
should know this.
You should know this. It's okay. It's that cinematic portion of the day that kind of they complement each other. You're 100% right.
I mean, you spent all this time and all of this effort to create this, Matt, and it's gonna fly by. It's so fast for them. They're like, the day flew by, and I want them to remember it forever. This
Yeah.
is your one day that like your life together truly began, and like
Yeah.
I want every little tiny detail to be remembered in like an artistic manner because your day is art.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's so funny. I have so many people who contact me and say, "You get so lucky that every person that you photograph looks like a model." And it's like, well, everybody does. Like with the right
Yes.
angles and the right way to present it. And it's the same idea. Your day is artwork, just like you're going to look so stunning on that day. Why not have everything captured in
I
every way
know. I
possible?
know. I agree. Yes.
Okay, so I guess that I just only want to ask you one more question.
Yeah.
Um, where do you see videography going like in the next 5 years?
Oh my gosh. Above and beyond, like it's like every day there's something new for camera equipment and like something that's like groundbreaking to like help capture. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's like autonomous drones flying around weddings in the future. They're just like zooming around, like they know what to look at and whatnot. So as far as like, I mean, I imagine most weddings in the future will have videographers because I know it's a little, not everyone does it now. It's a little more new,
Yeah,
but I imagine in the future it'll be just as significant as photography. So
I love it. Do you have any questions that you want to ask me that you can
no, I didn't come with any. Um, what's your favorite part of the day? I'm gonna shoot one back at you that you gave me. What's your favorite part of the day?
I think it's similar to yours as far as like the bride and groom when they first see each other. We spend the majority of our days with the bride and groom,
Yeah.
right? Like of anybody, even in the bridal party, you're going to spend the most time with your photographer and your videographer. We're there, we're your friends, we're there to
Yes.
make your day as easy as possible. I think that what I like the most is honestly the build up to the walking down the aisle.
Oh my
Like
gosh. Yes. Yes.
there's
Yes.
there's something about that. I love seeing the groom's face. Typically, though, I work with two photographers, so my face is focused only on the bride, and then I see it in the photos.
Of course.
But there's something about that moment, that opening of the door, that revealing of the curtain.
Turning the
I mean,
corner.
I'm
Just
getting
something.
I'm getting goosebumps right now just thinking
Yes.
about it.
Yes.
Like,
because like everyone is on their edge. Like everyone's on edge. People are standing up. Like it's just, mm,
But it's it's that moment where I think that all of us want to believe that true love exists, and it
yeah,
really is the peak of that hope
it
and
is.
the peak of the thought that this can work for me too.
Yeah,
You know?
we
And
made it.
I'm
We made it. We
married.
made it here.
Yes, yeah, exactly. I'm married, love of my life. Not the easiest marriage in the world, gonna be totally honest, like, but we've worked at it over and over and over again. And I will say that the way that I felt on that wedding day truly symbolized the hope and the excitement that I now have in my marriage. Like
Yes.
after 10 years of marriage, we're basically to the point where we know each other so well. And I can look at him and he'll be like, let me go get you that ice cream. Like,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
you
Yes.
know,
And that's what I'm striving for now.
yes,
Is
yes.
what I'm striving for. I'll find it. They give me hope. All these weddings give me hope. I'm like, it's out there.
I love it. But there's that moment is just, you realize in that moment that people find each other.
They do.
And as bad as things can get, as bad as the pandemic can be, as horrible as it can be to lose someone in your life, those moments, like they solidify and bring me back to that optimism and that positivity and that joy and that laughter and that love.
Yes.
I can't tell you how bad my cheeks hurt from smiling at weddings when I go home. Like they literally sometimes
It's ridiculous because you're like cheesing the whole time. You're just
yes, yeah,
everyone's so happy. It's so perfect.
I know.
And to have that, you said sometimes it does get hard, but you can always go to your photo album. You
Yes,
can always watch your wedding video and come back to it and remember why you did this. It's
yes,
not the problems today. You all did it for a reason. You're happy. It will all work out.
yeah, absolutely. And it's the foundational beginning. That's really what it
Absolutely.
comes down to, the foundational beginning. Well, thank you so much for just meeting and talking with me today.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I can't wait to get on, more projects with you as we go forward. And I'm so glad that you're part of the Green Apple family.
Yes. Thank you for having me.